Hey folks, it's Ted Cantu here with a Miracle Mind Shift. Today is day 70. What is it? Day 77. Wow, made it this far. We're talking about the power of thought today. I'm an ex-art director from Chicago and New York City and Detroit. I work in advertising, but I also do a thing called the Miracle Mind Shift, which is a spiritual show teaching you how to align your mind, body, and spirit and how to create your own miracles. We are actually responsible for our own miracles and our own happiness too. So I'm going to show you some techniques today on how to achieve that. I have a little bit of time to do that. I'm going to keep it short and simple, which will be a first, right? Because I usually have the tendency to over deliver and over talk. So let's just jump right into it. We have our lives are actually ruled over by dynamic loops, and they are driven by the four areas of fear, sickness, poverty, and success. Out of the four, success would be the one we want to really go after because thoughts control our actions, and actions become our character. The actions lead into the habits that form our character. You ever been around somebody who's got like really just bad negative energy and you just kind of feel, you can actually feel their energy? It's true. And if you're sensitive to that energy, you can also uh, figure out pretty quickly if you want to really be around them or not. Yeah, the ego actually exists outside of the body, the energy that's around us. In fact, if you look at the tree of life, the old illustration of the tree of life, it's very similar to the Kundalini system or the chakra system. And you get the crown, which is the Keter, the tree of life. Same thing with the Hinduism. They got a tree of, the crown chakra, which is at the very, very top, that connects to the upper world. And you want to have all of your chakras turned on. Then you got these energy centers that are actually outside the body, which is really the ego. It actually forms what you see in the 1% world. What I mean by that is the 1% world is all the physical stuff that we have here. This cup, right? Can you see it? This cup, this pen is the physical world. But right around us, there is 99% probabilities of stuff that we don't even see. Stuff that we don't even know about is actually in the 99% world. I mean, great stuff like wealth, health, good relationships, good family relationships, opportunities, people that want to bring us success, and just all the great things that you can think about. Health, wellness, restoration, healing in the mind, body, and spirit, creativity, and good projects. All the things that are good around us. All the things that are bad are around us too. If we want to reach out and go into that realm, you can pull it all in. Stuff you don't see. Your habits will actually dictate what kind of a response you're going to get. So your thoughts control everything. Let's just kind of go through them really quickly. Those who are ruled by fear are they're dangerous to themselves because you got to realize that most of your fears are never going to become realized in a single day. If we just have nothing but fear and we are ruled by it, that's amazing. There's a chart that I found that said 30% of your fear is about things that are never going to happen, right? People worry about probabilities of nasty interactions with friends or families or colleagues that happened many, many years ago that'll never happen, that'll never materialize. And we spend 30% of our time worrying about meeting them again. And I have a list of people I never want to see again at this age. I've met characters under the sun of every variety. Like right out of a Charles Dickens book, I've met the best of people and the worst of people. And there's some people I never want to see again. And I'll tell you that honestly. But why worry about them? Because they're not going to come back. And some have already died. Why worry about them? What you can really do to sell your soul is pray for those people. Pray for them. Forgive them so they don't stick to your magnetic energy and pull you down and keep you imprisoned. Yeah, imprisoned in this energetic isolation when you should be living your best life. You could also have, you could fear everything. I mean, there's a fantastic movie called The Fantastic Fear of Everything. If you've ever seen it, this writer was actually crippled by his own thoughts from past traumas, but he let it rule his life. It's a comedy. It's a dark comedy, but I suggest lightheartedly watching it for a laugh. But some people are actually ruled by fear, and they recreate their own problems every day because they got strong. Their beliefs are so strong, it creates trauma. I'm going to leave it there. So that's fear. False evidence appearing real. Ever hear that? That's the acronym for fear. One more thing on fear, because I'm going to be good to you this morning, okay? In the Bible, we talk about fear. And we're told not to worry about tomorrow because today has its own problems. Don't worry about tomorrow. But with every day, it has its own blessings too, its own mercies, if you want to go gospel with it. I like that. And I got to the point where I got so sensitive that when I wake up in the morning, I kind of know where it's going to go, how the day's going to go. My thoughts will actually gravitate towards the right direction, and I know what kind of day I'm going to have. I never used to have that ability. I used to literally, I would not spring out of bed because I was concerned about how things are going to go. I got into such a rut, and it can happen to anybody. But when I got that subconscious mind of mine cleaned out, and I got the right projects in there, I got the right direction, things started to move much easier. Now we're going to go into success. All right, the power of thought, success. When they asked, I think it was Thomas Edison about electricity, and they asked him how many times, he tried to make electricity. And there was some crazy number, and it was on the last attempts of making a light bulb that he was able to make it last for 40 minutes. And they asked him, what made you know, what gave you the thought of yourself being successful? How did you know you were going to be successful doing this? And he said something like, because it was all I thought about, the direction of thought. Now, for success, let me tell you something. Sometimes our thoughts can be so scattered that we don't have directive thought. And because of that, you will miss being successful. You will actually miss it by a mile. Something else I got to tell you about that. And this goes back to directive thought, Catherine Ponder in her book. And she talked about even your living space, if it's cluttered with junk and stuff all over the place, and your thoughts are here, your thoughts are there, your thoughts are over here, you can't find this or that, but you know where everything is. It's an organized mess. That will actually make you weak in your thought control because your mind is so scattered, you can't focus on what it is that you need to focus on. And it will keep you weak. So if you got tons of stuff in storage, you got tons of stuff in your office, you got tons of stuff in your house, you got scattered thoughts, You got scattered attention. And if it's not cleaned up, if it's not focused, think feng shui, right? So your success, no matter what it is, health or even just wealth, you'll be chasing after it. I'll just leave it there. Okay. So that's the success thing. Oh, sickness. Woo-hoo. Ugh. Ugh. I know people that obsess with sickness. They identify with their sickness. They identify with their illness. The power of thought and illness is very strong. I know people that'll say things like, well, my doctor says I'm going to do this. Well, my family has always had sickness in this, and it runs in our family, and I have it. Cancel what I just said. You can do that canceling, and I'll teach you one day. Cancel what I just said. But people will actually identify with their illness. They become one with it. And sometimes their illness gets worse. And you end up with a pill box like this size. And it's going to be filled with just medications and pills and just keeps you on this treadmill like a little hamster. Uh, you're always in and out of the doctor's offices and you believe everything they tell you and you don't have the ability to really live any other way because you've identified with that illness. You've taken ownership of it. Mind, body, and spirit. You know, when I cured myself from plantar's warts through the grace of God, I refused to believe that he put us here on earth to suffer. That was my belief. That was the God I grew up with. We had this conversation in the 70s. My stepdad, who I talk about on the show sometimes, was a member of Mensa. And I remember he said something really weird to me. He's like, well, modern man has figured out that when God made the body, he put too many parts in us. That's what he said. This is a guy from Mensa. Just unbelievable. I'm laughing because it's like I know God really intimately, and I just said he doesn't make mistakes. So his idea was you can take a few parts out of the body, and it's not going to affect the whole. It is absolutely insane. That's insane. So there's no truth to that. I want to keep everything God made for me because He made it just for me. He made me to function. He made me to thrive. Point being that when I had plantar's warts, which are like tumors on my feet, on my heels, that I didn't, you know, it was horrible. But I didn't believe that God put them there to make me suffer. I didn't believe doctors uh, were supposed to be in there cutting the heel off a little bit each week and repackaging with band-aids and stuff. And they didn't do a good job. They kept growing back because it's a fungus. And it's a fungus disorder in the blood. I was able to figure it out through juicing fruits and vegetables, and I healed myself. That's on the Thanksgiving Day episode, if you want to listen to that one, on my YouTube channel. Anyway, so my ideas of this whole idea about sickness was I didn't challenge God. I just said, I don't believe that you created us to suffer like that. I don't think that was your grand design. I don't believe that. I had such strong belief that I was able to cure myself in a month. About a month. Six weeks, I was 100%, no scars or nothing. All new skin grew back. And the warts were they disappeared. I did this for other people too. But I would not align myself with sickness or identify. Now we're talking about healing on a molecular level, like you know, the quantum level, the atomic. That's when stuff. That's when stuff gets supernatural and incredible. The last one, fear of poverty, or not so much fear of poverty, just the thought of poverty. Uh, I've seen this a lot. I've seen this in family. I've seen it with friends. I've seen people identify with this so often. especially being somewhat religious. Obviously the St. Michael medal. I've seen some stuff, right? But I've seen people really identify with poverty, saying like, "Well, I come from a poor family, but we're good in spirit. We're rich in spirit, which is fine, which is fine." But to say there's other treasures in this world besides money, I don't need money. Money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the obsession of money that is the root of evil. That was misconstrued. On poverty, people relate to it. Let me tell you a story about poverty. I had a guy trying to straighten me out one night because it's a business partner of mine. And I was going to go into this restaurant and just really enjoy myself. It was a nice restaurant. I believe I did a video of the chef, and it was upscale. It was super expensive. You probably wouldn't want to eat there every day, but the food was stellar, and I was going to go in. My buddy says, he tried to straighten me out. He put his hands on my shoulders like this, like this, like you listen to me, you know. He says, we're not those kind of people. We're not going to go in there. You can go in there if you want. I'm not going in there. I said, listen, I'm hungry. I got money. I I belong everywhere. I believe that I belong everywhere. I'm not going to let this all these rich people freak me out and deny me service or whatever. I'm going to eat in this expensive restaurant. So I walk in, got myself a table. He stood outside in the street pouting. He had his hands in his pockets. He's walking back and forth. He's all, ticked off. And he refused to walk in because he says, we're not those kind of people. We're not those kind of money people. I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand that, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to enjoy myself. And I did. That's one story. The other thing, this is tell you the same town. This is in Birmingham, Michigan. There was a steakhouse there that is no longer there anymore, but I really enjoyed that place. I think it was called Cameron's Steakhouse, is what I remember. And same kind of situation. My girlfriend at the time kind of mentioned, like, hey, we're not those kind of people. We're not ready for that yet. He said, look, Teddy's hungry. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to eat. I'm going to just enjoy myself. And had the best steak of my life. Had this blue cheese topper thing on a steak, and it was I don't know if it was a ribeye or what it was, but it was amazing. And funny thing was I was so grateful to be in there. I told my maitre d' that I love the food, all this, and just a fantastic spread. And he says, "Would you like to meet the chef?" I said, "Sure." So the chef comes up to my table and he meets us, very gracious to us, very a lot of personality, and just really great to connect. You see, and you can see I'm kind of lightening up now as I'm talking about this because the idea of giving thanks and praise to somebody lifts up the soul, spreads the light, and also lifts up the person that you're talking to. So, funny thing is, I'm telling you this because every head in the restaurant turned and looked at our table like, what's this guy all about? We eat here all the time. No big deal. How come the chef is coming to his table? Who is he? Who is some kind of big shot? Who is he? And I had all the attention towards me. That wasn't my intention, but that's what happens when you give thanks and you share the light. We had every eye on us. And I'll tell you something else. Now that I'm talking about poverty, it was oh, Hanukkah season. And we left the restaurant. My girlfriend was always like doing this thing like, I'm more spiritually advanced than you. You should be reading this book. This is why you're not one of us. I get that all the time. You're not one of us. Okay, I got it. But listen to this. There was two rabbis walking across the street. This sounds like a joke, right? It's not a joke. Two rabbis are walking across the street. They were giving out menorahs. They take one look at me and they start walking over to us. And my girlfriend's kind of got her hands out like, hi, hi guys. And she thought they were going to give her a menorah. They walk right past her, right? They walk right to me. They don't even look at her. And they give me a menorah. I said, we want you to have this. I said, well, thank you. Because they recognize some sort of a light quality with me. I was blessed with this. And it was so funny because they could have gave her one too. They had plenty of them, but they didn't. They said, we want you to have this. And we want you to light it. And I told my, well, I said, well, thank you. I said, I do study. And I was just learning about Judaism at the time. I was just kind of learning all of this stuff at the time, but I was not a master. So, so I got the menorah, and it was funny that they chose me. I'll give you one more thing about that, a little more about that. I went to a menorah lighting a couple years later. I was approached again by two Jewish men, two scholars handing out menorahs, little ones, at this menorah lighting in Detroit. My girlfriend at the time didn't study anything. Once again, they walked past her, they came right to me. And this is the spooky part. They said, they go, we want you to have this. I said, okay. But I already have one. And they look at each other, and this is what they said to me. They go, but do you light it? And I wasn't at the time. Now, how could they know that? How could they know that? I was a little laxed about it. They said, okay, well, I should be lighting it. Said, yeah. You wonder about this, the chosen people? This is a phrase you hear all the time. In my case, it was reality. Poverty thinking. You miss the blessings of your poverty when you're in that type of thought, that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough. Terrible way to live. I don't hang out with those people really anymore, at all, really. But poverty thinking is also really rough. When you hang out with people who have these types of thoughts, they'll bring their bad karma to you. I was driving down I-95 in Detroit with the guy that wouldn't let me eat in the restaurant, and he had really bad energy. And we were following this truck, and the back doors flew open, and all these chickens flew up. I hit a live chicken. I killed a chicken. The most random stuff, the most random, horrible stuff. And I felt horrible about it. And he's over here laughing. And I'm thinking, wow, man, what am I doing? And misfortunes would follow these people I'm talking about all the time. Meanwhile, they're telling me you're not good enough. And we're not those kind of people. They wanted to keep me at their level. And I did not want to be anywhere near that. I wanted to rise above it and live a different kind of life, full of success, health, healing, and wealth. I had to cut the line these people so I can move on. Otherwise, they're going to keep me in the bottom where they are. Thoughts control action. Actions create habits. Habits create character. And you're ruled over by these dynamic loops over and over. What kind of person do you want to be? How do you want to live your life? What kind of outcomes do you want to have? Power of thought. All right, so here we are. Day 77 and the Miracle Mind Shift. Those are my thoughts. All right, our new course is available for home study. We've got manuals, lessons, extended commentary, and instructions, step by step, how you can create your own miracles and break out of your own negative patterns. That is now available for purchase. If you'd like to get a hold of me directly, you can always call me at 248-277-6141. You could also get a hold of me at tedcantu.com. And you can also find me at tedcantu@gmail.com. But make it simple for you. So now that you're armed up with some more information, go out there, change your thoughts, change your actions, and have some new dynamic experiences. Life is to be enjoyed, not feared. And I want to thank you for joining us today. And I'll see you online.